Hey neighbor, well it's May and it's hot here in the south and our garden is growing. It's probably one of the biggest months out of the year for gardening. Man, we got stuff growing everywhere, a lot to be done out in the garden today. And we're gonna walk around and I'm gonna show you some of my winners, some of my losers, and some of the draws in the garden, some of the things that's going on. Maybe you can pick up some good information that'll help you grow your own food, or heck, maybe you can see some things that you can help me with. So let's get started. First things first, we got a 20 by 20 garden here that I kind of lay out, and I always love to show people this 20 by 20 garden and show them how much you can grow out of that. I got 3 raised beds in it. The rest of it we grow in ground. Got squash and cucumbers planted, had some issues there, lost a plant or two, but it kind of got weedy on me. And you know what? I said, this would be a perfect time. Let's talk about how to clean up a weedy spot. So today I'm gonna go in there and clean this garden up using 3 tools. I'm gonna use the Hall stirrup hoe. I'm gonna use the single wheel hoe with the stirrup hoe on it. And I'm gonna use the single tine cultivator. And we're gonna clean this thing up. Tell you what, let's time it and just see how long. And just like that, 6 minutes and a few drops of sweat, got it done. Oscillating hoe is one of my favorite tools here. We got a stirrup hoe, we call it on the handle here. And we have the oscillating hoe on the wheel hoe there with these sharp blades on there, and it cuts right underneath the weeds there. And it's one of my favorite tools. Shallow cultivation, you just go through there and cut them off. Actually, this morning, I've had this one here for a long time. I went there and put me a new blade on. These blades are actually replaceable, so I put me a new sharp blade on there. I could have sharpened the one I had, but I just went ahead and put me a new blade on there to get it ready. 6 minutes, got it cleaned up. It's just a fact of having the right tools to get the job done. All right, 1st of May, so it's time for me to get my tomatoes staked up. I'm gonna show you how I do my tomatoes. This row here is a row of indeterminates. I got a hodgepodge of several different varieties there that we're trialing out. On these indeterminate varieties, I like to use at least a 7-foot post. And I put them, so I set my tomatoes on 2-foot spacing on my drip tape. So in between every second plant, I put a post. I think that's about 4 foot apart. 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. That's gonna be about 4 foot apart. Now I dig down, find out where my drip tape is at, and I go right beside it, drive these posts in there. 7-foot post is minimum for me for indeterminate type tomatoes, because I need plenty of height there, because these babies are going to get big. Now my determinate types, and you see I don't have but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them here. I can use a 6-foot post or pretty much whatever I got, because I'm not going to be dealing with a lot of height on those determinates. Down here at the end, I got 3 tomato plants of a new indeterminate, so I went back to my 7-foot post down here. 5 or 6 foot seems to be a plenty for my determinates, but I actually would not go less than 7. And if you got access to 7.5-foot posts and you can work them, I don't think that's a bad idea on these indeterminates. Now, as you can see here, we got a little tomato there and we got blooms. I've already put my first dose of calcium gypsum around the plant there and then covered it up. I healed up my tomato plants there and they're growing like crazy. Now is the time to get them strung up. If I was to wait and we got a big storm come through, I could get some damage to get blown around. So it's pretty important to get these things strung up when they get about this stage right here and needing some structure and need to be tied up so that the wind won't blow them around and damage them. Now, if you got a bunch of tomatoes, we got some grow twine right here you need to use, because it's the most economical way to do it. And that's what the farmers use. This right here, this big box here's got a lot of cord in it. And by all means, this is the one they use when you see them with the PVC pipe doing the Florida weave. But me, just growing a few rows, I like to use this cotton twine right here. A couple of reasons why: it's easy on my hand, it don't burn my hand up right there, It's biodegradable, so if some gets left over in the garden after the season, I don't have to worry about it. It'll kind of degrade on its own. It's just easier for me to use. Now the downside is they ain't that much in here, 185 foot per roll. But that's gonna be enough for me. It's gonna take me probably 2 or 3 rolls throughout the season to keep everything strung up. This first stringing today kind of works on the old man a little bit because you got to bend down there and get it done. Once I get that first stringing done, the second and third one's not so bad. But I'm gonna go ahead and get them done today. Ooh, every year it gets further and further down there. Now this year I just went on each side, come back up. Look here, you can weave it in, come in, catch that one and go back, however you want to. Sometimes I change it up, but this time I just went down on each side, come back up. Now I do try to keep my string nice and tight there. And that's my version of the Florida weave. Well, let's talk about okra a minute. We got to have a row of okra. This here's jambalaya, and this some I transplanted. You can tell it's just now starting to put out new growth. Went through a little transplant shock there. But I think probably the middle and end of April or 1st of May is probably the ideal time to have warm enough soil temperatures to get that okra going. The last thing you want to do is plant that okra in cool soils. It just will not grow. And this here, neighbors, my Hickory King field corn. I hadn't grown Hickory King in a few years, but I love it. And this is probably one of the prettiest crops I've ever had at this stage here. That big rain we got 6 inches during one night. This corn was just starting to come up. So my timing was good. I got a good stand out of it. I was able to get back in here after it dried up to clean up my rows, to hill my corn, to lay it by. Got a great crop. You can see how clean it is. And that's because I could get back in here, unlike my sweet corn, and get it healed and get it weeded and worked with my wheel hoe when it needed to be done. Now it's nice and green and healthy, but I will continue to inject some fertilizer in on this corn for the next few days to make sure I keep that dark green color to it. Well, neighbor, here's my sweet corn. Now this one's a different story right here. Sweet corn was up when I got that 6-inch rain in here, and I couldn't get back in here for a good 5, 6, 7 days. You just bog up to your ankle. So I couldn't get in here to work it. Weeds got in this more than I like to admit. It looks a little trashy, but you know what? We're gonna make corn. But it's just part of gardening. Sometimes these kind of things happen. We have to salvage what we can. I think I'm gonna make a good crop here, but it is kind of weedy. There wasn't nothing I could do. I got in here and worked it and laid it by just as soon as I could get in here and work that soil, but them weeds was too big. So we're just gonna have to deal with it. I'm gonna make sure I feed my corn well, make sure my water is there when the corn needs it to make a pretty good crop. Folks, this here's a cover crop that I planted back during the fall. Now the ideal time to plant this hairy vetch here is going to be the first part of October. You get it up and I want you to look what a stand of cover crop I've got there. I'm gonna let this area lay by this year, so this cover crop's working really good, full of blooms. This is a legume. This is a cool season cover crop. It's going to bloom on out and it's going to die on out. It can't take the heat and it'll kind of mat down, help keep some of my weeds at bay. I may come back out here and hair it up at that point and plant me a summer cover crop, but I'm just enjoying all these pretty blooms here at the moment. But you know what? My pollinator count this year is way down, and I'm kind of scared. I've been out here every day in the middle of the day trying to check on my pollinators. I'm looking at one honeybee right now. I just so know when I walked out here, that's the second honeybee I have seen in 3 days. I'm glad to see them because I was really starting to get concerned. My native pollinators have not been near what they was last year. I talked to a friend of mine that's a beekeeper, and he said they was having some struggles too. I don't know what it is, but I'm starting to really get concerned about my pollinators. And this is the reason I need them pollinators so bad. I've got me a great crop of Tasty Bite melons, which is a small cantaloupe, planted on my Lazy Garden kit. Growing well. It seemed to have been a great idea holding the weeds back. But look at all them pretty yellow flowers out there. I got to have pollinators on them, and I've not seen the first one yet. So I'm starting to get concerned about that. If something don't happen in the next day or two, I'm gonna have to hire somebody to bring a hive of bees in. Yeah, I was gonna show you all this. If you know me very well, you know I always direct seed my cucumbers and my squash. But I had a customer complaining about his seeds not germinating. So I did an in-house germ test, went and got some and planted them in these trays right here, and they all come up good. So I'm gonna utilize these and transplant. I got a raised bed that's open, but I got a couple of these squash plants that's just looking terrible. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull them up and replace them with some plants while I got them. Would you look at that root ball right there? Man, ain't that pretty? Now I may end up transplanting more than what I used to on these squash. That does look pretty. We're gonna see how they do. But just about always, I direct seeded my cucumbers and squash. Now, I know a lot of you guys out there have been successful transplanting them, and I'm starting to come around your way a little bit. And this is another reason I gotta have pollinators. I got a beautiful crop of watermelons. Put 2 of these Lazy Garden kits together. Man, I got some pretty clean vines growing, starting to bloom. With all the sweat, tears, and money I put in this crop, you betcha I'm going to need some pollinators. Now just a few feet away, we've got milkweed growing. We got a wildflower mix that's growing that's pretty. So we got all kind of stuff blooming. We have planted plenty of stuff to keep our pollinators busy, trying to increase that natural pollinator habitat. But folks, I'm just not seeing it at this point, and I sure hope they show up in a day or two. Let me know in the comments below what kind of season or issues you're having with pollinators. Are you seeing plenty of them, or do you think they're delayed, or maybe they're not there this year like they've been in years before?